it's Melanie. Welcome to my channel. Today I have a massive book haul for you, so stay tuned. So in the month of November, I accumulated 24 books. Most of these actually came from subscription boxes that I opened in November. Yeah, there's a lot of them. And then these three, I believe, are books that I pre-ordered from Amazon. I am so excited to show you all of these books. So let's just jump right in. I'll start with the books that I pre-ordered from Amazon. And this first one, Marty and I are both super excited for this book. It's a chunker. It is The Toll by Neal Shusterman. This is the third and final book in the Scythe series, and we are so excited to read it. Reading Scythe was great, and then reading Thunderhead was even better. I love Thunderhead. I love hearing the perspective of the Thunderhead, and I'm really curious to see what happens next. If you don't know, the Scythe series is... There's this world where death has pretty much been eliminated. There's a cure for everything. There's no disease anymore. You could literally fall off a building and splat and be fixed and put back together. You're only deadish unless a scythe gets you. If you've been deemed to be scythed or gleaned by a scythe, then you die for real, and there is no coming back from that. Now, the scythes are supposed to choose people at random to be gleaned, pretty much as a population control, because there is no more death anymore, and people can reset back to, I think, as young as 21 over and over again as many times as they want. Nobody has to age anymore. Nobody has to die anymore. So in order to keep the population from going too out of control, they created the scythedom, and the scythes choose who gets gleaned, and that is the end of their life. So in the first book, we have two characters that get chosen to become scythe apprentices. Neither one of them are interested. They don't want to become scythe apprentices, and they're kind of forced into it. And then it turns into somewhat of a life or death stakes game where they're pitted against each other, and whichever one survives and becomes the next scythe, they have to glean the other one. But neither want that. And then there's the Thunderhead, and the Thunderhead is the artificial intelligence system that kind of just keeps everything going the way it's supposed to go. And it's so interesting. Like, oh my gosh, it's such... Though it is an artificial intelligence, it does have, it seems, a consciousness or a conscience and a personality, and I really like it. And then we have The Toll, and I don't know anything about this. I'm just so excited to go into it. Okay, so the next book that I got from Amazon was The Guinevere Deception by Kiersten White. Again, I'm super excited about this. This is an Arthur retelling, and it's based around Guinevere, and she is, I think, a fae, I believe, or a changeling or something like that. But she is there to help guide Arthur and protect Camelot, and I think protect magic. And I'm super interested. I really enjoy Kiersten White's writing, so I'm really interested to see what happens with this book. And then the last book that I pre-ordered from Amazon was a Supernova by Marissa Meyer. This is the third and I believe final book in the Renegade series. Now, I haven't read the second book yet, but the first one I absolutely loved, which was really interesting because it wasn't really my kind of genre. Like, I'm not big on the whole superheroes and villains and stuff, but I thoroughly enjoyed Renegades, which is a world where the superheroes are pretty much the government, and it becomes a very gray area where the superheroes don't necessarily seem like they're all good, and the villains also seem kind of gray because the things they stand for are not necessarily bad, and they don't think the heroes belong in public office. They think they have too much power and it's corrupting things, and they feel like they should be in power. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to continuing. Okay, so then all of these I believe came from subscription boxes. So these first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, these first 5 books here are actually from, I think, Alcrate Jr. They were Xander books, but they're books that I'll read as well, or we'll read together. So the first one here is actually the smallest, and it's also the one Xander's most excited for, and that is Cog. It says, "We're more than we're built for." And this says, "My name is Cog. Cog is short for cognitive development, the process of learning how to think and understand. When I learn something, I enjoy telling people about it. It is part of my programming. This story is me, Cog, telling you about all the things." Cog looks like a normal 12-year-old boy, but he's a highly advanced robot, and he was built to learn. When a big mistake lands Cog in a strange lab, surrounded by scientists who want to study him and remove his brain, Cog decides to recruit 4 other robots for a cross-country mission to find a place to call home. Their journey will most likely involve much cognitive development in the form of mistakes, but Cog is willing to risk everything to find somewhere he and his new friends will finally belong. And this, like I said, is super short. It's only 195 pages. Next up we have The Good Thieves by Catherine Rundle. And this says, when Vita's grandfather's mansion is taken from him by a powerful real estate tycoon, Vita knows it's up to her to make things right. With the help of a pickpocket and her new circus friends, Vita creates the plan: break into the mansion, steal back what's rightfully her grandfather's, expose the real estate tycoon for the crook he truly is. But 1920s Manhattan is ever-changing and full of secrets. It might take more than Vita's ragtag gang of misfits to outsmart the city that never sleeps. Award-winning author Catherine Rundle has created an utterly gripping tour de force about loyalty, trust, and the lengths to which we will go for the loved ones we love. Next we have Time Sight by Lynn Jonell. And this book, this was funny. So something I noticed when showing it off before is the map in the front is actually printed upside down. In the back it's printed the right way, but in the front it's upside down. And I think that might have been done as a mistake. I don't know that that was on purpose. Anyway, this says, Will's mother is in danger overseas, and his father must find her, so Will and his little brother are packed off to relatives in Scotland. Will feels useless. He can't save his mother, he can't help his father, and when he tries to amuse his brother on the plane ride, he can't even locate the images in Jamie's special book, the hidden pictures that everyone else can see. Once at the family's ancestral castle, though, Will tries again. And as he delicately adjusts his focus, suddenly his eyes tune in to a different visual frequency, the past. Looking back 500 years is interesting at first, but when Jamie impulsively leaps through the opening in time, Will and his cousin Nan must follow into a path so dangerous that Will isn't sure how he will get everyone safely home, or if getting back is even possible. How will they manage to survive? This sounds like a lot of fun. And then we have Malum Ander by Thomas Taylor, illustrated by Tom Booth. And I thought this cover looked so cool. Also, the naked book looks like this. I thought that also looked really cool. And there are illustrations throughout that are always fun. Okay, this says, you probably don't believe in the Malum Ander. You maybe think there's no way a fish man can be real. This story probably isn't for you anyway. In fact, do yourself a favor and stop reading now. Close this book and lock it in an old tin box. Wrap the box in a heavy chain and throw it off the pier. Forget you ever heard of Erie-on-Sea. Go back to your normal life. For Herbie Lemon, the town of Erie-on-Sea is a year-round home. When the tourists leave, he's still there. And good thing, because the tourists leave so many belongings behind, and it's Herbie's job, as the lost and founder of the Grand Nautilus Hotel, to reunite folks with their forgotten items. But who would forget a baby? When Violet Palmer appears at Herbie's door, insisting that he find the parents who left her at the hotel a decade before, Herbie's investigative talents will be put to their greatest test as the two are swept up in a mystery that involves a sinister man with a hook for a hand, a mysterious egg with extraordinary powers, and the elusive Malum Ander, the legendary monster that holds the town of Erie-on-Sea in its thrall. From an exciting new voice in middle grade fiction comes fantastical mystery to frighten and delight those who dare to read on. It sounds fun and creepy, and I think we're both going to enjoy this. Next up we have The 12. And let's see. This says, Usagi can hear a squirrel's heartbeat from a mile away. She can soar over treetops in one giant leap and creep so quietly that no one has a chance of finding her. She was born in the year of the wood rabbit, and it's given her zodiac gifts that are as much a part of her as her breathing. But ever since the mysterious, vicious dragon lord hunted down her parents and all those with zodiac powers, Usagi has been very careful to keep hers, and those of her rambunctious little sister Uma, a secret. But when Uma grows too bold with her powers, she and her best friend Tora are captured by the Dragon Guard. Usagi barely escapes, and only with the help of 3 mysterious strangers. They call themselves the Heirs of the 12, and claim that they will inherit the powers of a mystical group of skilled warriors who once protected the land. Now, to save her sister, Usagi must hone her rabbit skills and journey with the heirs to Mount Jade, mythical home of the 12, to learn from the powerful teacher known as the Tigress. As her skill and knowledge grow, new mysteries unfold. Usagi must decide who she stands with and who she trusts, as she takes on deadly warriors, tests of courage, and even the elusive, dangerous Dragon Lord himself. Now on to the books that came in my subscription boxes. The first one we have here is Spin the Dawn by Elizabeth Lim. And this says, a gifted tailor in disguise, 3 legendary dresses, the competition of a lifetime. On the fringes of the Great Spice Road, Maya Tamarin works as a seamstress in the shop of her father, once a tailor of renown. She dreams of becoming the greatest tailor in the land, but as a girl, the best she can hope for is to marry well. When a royal messenger summons her ailing father to court, Maya poses as his son and travels to the summer palace in his place. She knows her life is forfeit if her secret is discovered, but she'll take that risk to save her family from ruin and achieve her dream of becoming the imperial tailor. There's just one catch. Maya is one of 12 tailors vying for the job. The competition is cutthroat, and Maya's job is further complicated by the unwelcome attention of the court enchanter, Eden, who seems to see straight through her disguise. But nothing could have prepared her for the final challenge, to sew 3 gowns so dangerously beautiful it will take a quest to the ends of the earth to complete them. And this is book 1 in the Blood of Stars duology. Interesting. Okay, next up we have House of Salt and Sorrows by Aaron A. Craig. I've also heard really good things about this book, so I'm looking forward to reading it. Also, look at these end pages. They're so pretty. This says, Anna Lee lives a sheltered life at Highmoor, a manor by the sea, with her sisters and their father and stepmother. Once there were 12, but loneliness fills the grand halls now that 4 of the girls' lives have been cut short. Each death was more tragic than the last. The plague, a plummeting fall, a drowning, a slippery plunge, and there are whispers throughout the surrounding villages that the family is cursed by the gods. Disturbed by a series of ghostly visions, Annalie becomes increasingly suspicious that her sister's deaths were no accidents. The girls have been sneaking out every night to attend glittering balls, dancing until dawn in silk gowns and shimmering slippers, and Annalie isn't sure whether to try to stop them or to join their forbidden trysts. Because who or what they are really dancing with? Are they really dancing with? When Annalie's involvement with a mysterious stranger who has secrets of his own intensifies, it's a race to unravel the darkness that has fallen over her family before it claims her next. House of Salt and Sorrows is a spellbinding novel filled with magic and the rustle of gossamer skirts down long, dark hallways. Get ready to be swept away. This makes me think of, oh gosh, what is it? The Goblin King, I think? Yes, I think this sounds like a retelling of the Goblin King, where he dances with the 12 sisters. Okay, next up we have a paperback classic that came in, I don't remember which box, but it's The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. This is a Penguin horror classic, and I pulled it up on Goodreads so I could tell you about it. It says, first published in 1959, Shirley Jackson's The Haunting of Hill House has been hailed as a perfect work of unnerving terror. It is a story of 4 seekers who arrive at a notoriously unfriendly pile called Hill House. Dr. Montague, an occult scholar looking for solid evidence of a haunting, Theodora, the light-hearted assistant, Eleanor, a friendless, fragile young woman well acquainted with poltergeists, and Luke, the future heir of Hill House. At first, their stay seems destined to be merely a spooky encounter with inexplicable phenomenon. But Hill House is gathering its powers, and soon it will choose one of them to make its own. Ooh. Next up, we have The Bone Houses by Emily Lloyd Jones. And this one says, nothing stays buried forever. 17-year-old Wren cares about only 2 things, her family and her family's graveyard. And right now, they're both in dire straits. Since the death of their parents, Wren and her siblings have been scraping together a meager existence as grave diggers in the remote village of Colburn, which sits at the foot of a harsh and deadly mountain range that was once home to the Fae. The problem with being a grave digger in Colburn, though, is that the dead don't always stay dead. The risen corpses are known as bone houses, and legend says that they're the result of an old curse. When Ellis, an apprentice mapmaker with a mysterious past, arrives in town, the bone houses attack with a new ferocity. What is it that draws them near? And more importantly, how can they be stopped for good? Together, Ellis and Wren embark on a journey that will take them into the heart of the mountains, where they will have to face both the curse and the deeply buried truths about themselves. equal parts classic horror novel and original fairy tale. The bone houses will have you spellbound from the very first page. Okay, next we have We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faisal. I'm sure I butchered that name and I'm so sorry. This says, people lived because she killed. People died because he lived. Zephyra is the hunter, disguising herself as a man when she braves the cursed forests of the Ars to feed her people. Nazir is the Prince of Death, assassinating those foolish enough to defy his autocratic father, the Sultan. If Zephyra is exposed as a girl, all of her achievements will be rejected. If Nazir displays his compassion, his father will punish him in the most brutal of ways. Both Zephyra and Nazir are legends in the kingdom of Arawiya, but neither wants to be. War is brewing, and the Ars sweeps closer with each passing day, engulfing the land in shadow. When Zephyra embarks on a quest to uncover a lost artifact that can restore magic to her suffering world and stop the Ars, Nazir is sent by the Sultan on a similar mission, retrieve the artifact and kill the hunter. But an ancient evil stirs as their journey unfolds, and the prize they seek may pose a threat greater than either can imagine. Set in a richly detailed world inspired by an ancient Arabia, We Hunt the Flame is a gripping debut of discovery, conquering fear, and taking identity into your own hands. Okay, next up we have Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. And this was definitely an Owlcrate one because I remember the cover is different on this one than the original. This says, all sorcerers are evil. Elizabeth has known that as long as she has known anything. Raised as a foundling in one of the Ostermere's great libraries, Elizabeth has grown up among the tools of sorcery, magical grimoires that whisper on the shelves and rattle beneath iron chains. If provoked, they transform into grotesque monsters of ink and leather. She hopes to become a warden, charged with protecting the kingdom from their power. Then, an act of sabotage releases the library's most dangerous grimoire. Elizabeth's desperate intervention implicates her in the crime, and she is torn from her home to face justice in the capital. With no one to turn to but her sworn enemy, the sorcerer Nathaniel Thorne, and his mysterious demonic servant, she finds herself entangled in a centuries-old conspiracy. Not only could the great libraries go up in flames, but the world along with them. As her alliance with Nathaniel grows stronger, Elizabeth starts to question everything she's been taught, about sorcerers, about the libraries she so loves, even about herself. For Elizabeth has a power she has never guessed, and a future she could never have imagined. Okay, next up we have Criers War by Nina Varela, and this cover, y'all, is just, oh my gosh, it is so stunning. I love it. It's so hard to show with the light the way it is, but oh, it's so pretty. This says, impossible love between two girls, one human, one maid, a love that could birth a revolution. After the War of Kinds ravaged the kingdom of Rabu, the Ottoman, designed to be the playthings of royals, took over the estates of their owners and bent the human race to their will. Now Ayla, a human servant rising in the ranks at the house of the sovereign, dreams of avenging the death of her family by killing the sovereign's daughter, Lady Crier. Crier, who was made to be beautiful, to be flawless, and to take over the work of her father. Crier has been preparing to do just that, to inherit her father's rule over the land. But that was before she was betrothed to Skyer Canuck, who seems to have 1,000 secrets. That was before she discovered her father isn't as benevolent as she thought. That was before she met Ayla. Set in a richly imagined fantasy world, Nina Varela's debut novel is a sweepingly romantic tale of love, loss, and revenge that grapples with what it really means to be human. Okay, next up we have I Hope You Get This Message by Farah Naz Rishi. And this says, 7 days, 7 days, the earth might end in 7 days. When news stations start reporting that Earth has been contacted by a planet named Alma, the world is abuzz with rumors that the alien entity is giving civilization only a few days before they hit the kill switch. For high school truant Jesse Hewitt, though, nothing has ever felt permanent. Not the guys he hooks up with, not the jobs his underpaid mom works so hard to hold down. Life has dealt him one bad blow after another. So what does it matter if it all ends now? Kate Collins, on the other hand, is desperate to use this time to find her father she's never met. The man she grew up hearing wild stories about, most of which she didn't believe. And then there's Adim Khan. While coding and computer programming have always come easily to him, forgiveness doesn't. He can't seem to forgive his sister for leaving, even though it's his last chance. With only 7 days to face their truths and right their wrongs, Jesse, Kate, and Nadim's paths collide, even as the worlds are pulled apart. Okay, so these next 4 books were sent from, I think, Unplugged Book Box. I can't recall. But it was like some kind of one-time bonus thing they did. And I was so confused when I got these because I was like, I have no idea what's going on with them. So it's the first 4 books in a series. The series is called The Murder Bot Diaries. It's definitely a sci-fi, and they're little short books, which is handy. I don't really know too much about this. We have All Systems Red is book 1. Artificial Conditioning is book 2. Rogue Protocol is book 3. And Exit Strategy is book 4. So let me just read you about All Systems Red, which is the first book. And like I said, these are short. Like, the first book's only 149 pages. So, quick reads, which is handy to have. This says, I have to make myself do things I don't want to do, like talk to humans. In a corporate-dominated spacefaring future, planetary missions must be approved and supplied by the company. Exploratory teams are accompanied by company-supplied security robots for their own safety. But in a society where contracts are awarded to the lowest bidder, safety isn't a primary concern. On a distant planet, a team of scientists are conducting surface tests shadowed by their company-supplied bot, a self-aware SEC unit that has hacked its own governor module and refers to itself, though never out loud, as Murder Bot. Scornful of humans, all it really wants is to be left alone long enough to figure out who it is. But when a neighboring mission goes dark, it's up to the scientists and their murder bot to get to the truth. Interesting. I probably will read these just because they're really short. And, I mean, they're Hugo and Nebula Award winners. I mean, cool if I end up loving them. Quick reads. Okay, another thing that they sent as sort of like a reward for something else was an ARC. And so they sent me the ARC of 1,000 Fires by Shannon Price. And this came out in November of 2019. It says, 10 years, 3 rival gangs, 1 girl's epic quest. Valerie Simmons knows the wars are dangerous. Her little brother was killed by the Boers 2 years ago. Nothing will sway her from joining the elite and beautiful Herons to avenge her brother. But when Jax, the volatile and beyond charismatic leader of the Stags, promises her revenge, Valerie is torn between old love and new loyalty. Stags and Boers. Next up we have Beyond the Black Door by A.M. Strickland. And this says, Kamai was warned to never open the black door, but she didn't listen. Everyone has a soul. Some are beautiful gardens, others are frightening dungeons. Soul walkers, like Kamai and her mother, can journey into other people's souls while they sleep. But no matter where Kamai visits, she sees the black door. It follows her into every soul, and her mother has told her to never ever open it. When Kamai touches the door, it is warm and beating like it has a pulse. When she puts her ear to it, she hears her own name whispered from the other side. And when tragedy strikes, Kamai does the unthinkable. She opens the door. A.M. Strickland's imaginative dark fantasy features court intrigue and romance, a main character coming to terms with her asexuality, and twists and turns as a seductive mystery unfolds that endangers not only Kamai's own soul, but the entire kingdom. Next up we have Tinfoil Butterfly, a novel by Rachel Eve Moulton. And this says, Emma is hitchhiking to the Badlands, trying to outrun a violent, tragic past when a vicious scuffle with a driver leaves her bloody and stranded. She finds herself in an abandoned town in the Black Hills with an out-of-gas van, a loaded gun, and a snowstorm on the way. The town is eerily quiet, and Emma takes shelter in a deserted diner. There she encounters Earl, a strange little boy in a tinfoil mask, who begs her for help. As she is pulled into Earl's bizarre, menacing world, the horrors of Emma's past creep closer, and she realizes she can't run forever. Rachel Eve Moulton's Tinfoil Butterfly is a seductively scary exploration of evil, how it sneaks in under your skin, flaring up when you least expect it, how it throttles you and won't let go. The beauty of this voracious and harrowing debut is that it teaches us that love can do that too. And then last but not least, we have Tuesday Mooney Talks to Ghost by Kate Ratulia. And this says, a dying billionaire sends one woman and a cast of dreamers and rivals on a citywide treasure hunt in this irresistible novel by the author of Bellwether Rhapsody. Tuesday Mooney is a loner. She keeps to herself, begrudgingly socializes, and spends much of her time watching old Twin Peaks and X-Files DVDs. But when Vincent Price, Boston's most eccentric billionaire, dies, leaving behind an epic treasure hunt through the city with clues inspired by his hero, Edgar Allan Poe, Tuesday's real-life adventure begins. Puzzle-loving Tuesday searches for clue after clue, joined by a ragtag crew, a wisecracking friend, an adoring teen neighbor, and a handsome, cagey young heir. The hunt tests their mettle, and with other teams from around the city also vying for the promised prize, a share of Price's immense wealth, they must move quickly. Price's clues can't be cracked with sharp wit alone. The searchers must summon the courage to face painful ghosts from their past, some more vivid than others, and discover their most guarded desires and dreams. A deliciously funny ode to imagination, overflowing with love letters to art, from the Westing game to Madonna to the Knights of the Round Table, Tuesday Mooney Talks to Ghost is the perfect read for thrill seekers, wanderers, word lovers, and anyone looking for an escape to the extraordinary. And I thought this one sounded really, really good. Okay, so those are all 24 books that I accumulated in the month of November. There's a lot. Have you guys read any of these books? Did you like them? Did you not? Comment down below and let me know. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a big thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, click that subscribe button down below. And until next time, remember to always be completely you. Bye!